Great. Well, thank you very much for that resounding introduction. My name is Tyler Nelson. I am the Director of Training for RTI. Also, I'm handling the central regional sales responsibilities for RTI. My email address is at the top. Feel free to shoot me an email if you do have any questions or concerns regarding products, programming, or anything related to RTI. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. Kind of what we want to go over today, and after discussing it with the team at AllNet, is just kind of give everybody an idea of what RTI has been up to, who we are, the product line, what's available to you in terms of a control aspect, what kind of the sales mentality and the sales philosophies of RTI are, and kind of where we're going with things and where you can see the investments that RTI has made lately into the product line and how they're going to benefit you. In addition to that, we always encourage you to, once you've become an authorized RTI dealer and gained access to our dealer site, to join the Integration Zone forum. And you can see that forum address down at the bottom, second from the bottom. It's forums.rticorp.com. And this is a great opportunity for you to converse with not just other members of the forum, but also have a voice within RTI. Everybody from engineering to support to sales, marketing, everybody's on the forum, and it's a great opportunity to voice your opinion on things. You know, what do you love? What do you not love? What do you want to see improvements on? What don't we have yet? What your questions may be, because one of the things RTI does know, and one of the things we are known for, is being an integrator-based company, meaning that we listen to our integrators. We understand where they're coming from on things, but most importantly, we know that we don't know everything. and we want to understand what's going on in the field from an integrator-based audience. And so we introduced this forum. It's probably one of the best forums in the industry, where you can get any sort of custom graphics done for you. You can download drivers. You can ask questions. You can see new hardwares, products and releases, and different items on there. In fact, our latest software release, Integration Designer Apex, is only available for download on the Integration Zone forum itself. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit here. But let's get started here and give you an idea of what RTI has been up to and what we're working on here. So RTI, as many of you know, is celebrating its 25th anniversary. We are not new to the industry, folks. We've been doing the control and automation for quite some time now, and we're happy to be celebrating our 25th birthday. And with that 25th birthday has come a major reinvestment within the company itself from a number of different areas, the engineering, the design, support, and sales staff. We added in a 15,000 square foot engineering facility to our already existing 35,000 square foot headquarters facility here in Minnesota. And we did that to entice new levels of talent. It's a very Google-ish looking type of engineering facility. They've got all sorts of little spaces to work on and brainstorm and develop new ideas. But we did that to attract a new level of talent, a new level of ideas, to generate an atmosphere that was given to be able to provide the ability to express those ideas in a non-judgmental way. And so we've got a lot of engineers on staff. In fact, when we moved all those engineers over from our current building to the new 15,000 square foot facility that they got, all of the spaces that they had were filled in with different technical and customer support reps, so that we could drop our call time down to next to nil when it came to calling in for any sort of technical support. We also increased the number of sales staff. In fact, we used to only have 2 or 3 sales managers for the entire company. Now we've recently hired 5 new sales managers, 2 for the East Coast, 2 for the West Coast, North and South, 1 for the Canadian region, and then we're also going to have 2 for the central location, 1 for upper Midwest and 1 for the lower Midwest. So we're going to have a ton of boots on the ground. We're going to have a ton of investment on that side. We're going to have a reinvestment on the training facilities side, so that you'll have a lot more opportunity to learn the different aspects of what RTI can do. We've done a major reinvestment of the company on a number of those different fronts. But one of the things that we have not deviated from was company philosophy, which is that it's a fully customized solution and be able to meet every installation need. In other words, there's not a one-size-fits-all option out there, folks. The custom installation industry, CI industry, is all about providing your clients with what exactly they require, what is going to make their lives easier, what is going to entice them to want to use their system, what is going to make their, what is going to quell all of those pain points that they may have. And RTI can do that on a number of different fronts, whether it comes from handheld controllers, wired-based controllers, apps, tabletops, control process, whatever the case may be, we have a solution for it. In fact, with that investment of RTI, we've invested in our software development side as well, so that we've got a team of engineers, software engineers, and our integration team where all they do is develop what are called control drivers, which are modules to be able to control the different third-party systems out there, whether it's comfort-based systems like pool and HVAC and energy management, to things like safety, like security systems and lighting and locks, to systems for distributed audio or just basic streaming sources, being able to utilize it for display sources and distributed video. In fact, we've been on the forefront on a number of different first-time streaming devices. We develop these drivers in a number of different ways, but the first way is that we make sure that they work and they work well. We take the communication protocol that is provided to us from that manufacturer, and we take every aspect that we can to make sure it works perfectly within the RTI system. The beautiful part about all of this is that we don't care what kind of system you want to use, whether it's streaming or listening or audio or lights. We don't care. We want you to be used to what you have. We don't want you to have to relearn an entire system to fit our system properties. We want you to use what it comes naturally to you. In fact, if you've been using something like Lutron forever, we don't want to say, well, now you have to use our lighting system. So now you have to relearn an entire thing where you may be set in your ways on Lutron and ready to go, or whatever the case may be. Sonos, Helios, whatever. In fact, not only do we write the control drivers for those things, manufacturers have also taken the reins and written some of their own control drivers and offer them to you on their websites. We have a very open platform when it comes to it. In fact, we take it even a step further. If you have somebody in your company who has has coding language experience, they can apply for our software development kit and be able to write their own control drivers for the company, so that you don't have to rely on just our integration team or the integration teams of those manufacturers to be able to provide to you those control options and drivers. So we've really taken it to another level when it comes to the customization side of things. And we do it all on the backbone of our programming software called Integration Designer. This has been a one-stop shop programming environment that's been in a constant state of evolution for the last 25 years. We offer you the opportunity to use a huge IR RS-232 and driver database. But if you want to use your own personal IR library or own personal RS-232 library or write your own control drivers, you have the option. The nice thing about this software is that it's a Windows-based environment that allows for drag-and-drop-based operations, so that if you want to make a subtle change here or there, you certainly can. You can customize it. You can make it look and feel however you want. But the most important part of this is the fact that it's a dealer-protected software. It is not allowed to be given to any end user. You have to be an authorized RTI dealer to be able to use it. In fact, we want you to be called for those channel changes and things like that, because that's more revenue in your pocket. We want our dealers to be successful in any way, shape, or form we can. And one of the most important ways is to protect the software so that end users are not allowed to make their adjustments. Now, as time has gone on and the amount of awards that we've won for the software, including being inducted into the CD Product Hall of Fame, have continued to add up. But one of the things that we need to do is we need to adjust with the times. And what we've done with our software is we're kind of revamping it. We're changing the mold of it to be able to create a much more fluid programming environment, one that is allowing you to get in and out of jobs faster, but not take away from any of the customization. And that changeover is going to occur with Integration Designer Apex. It's the next major iteration of Integration Designer that will offer a fully project-based auto programming environment with updated graphics, resizable bitmaps, and automatic programming for IR, RS-232, and even drivers, along with some automatic variable and feedback programming. We'll have an automatic software update detection capable within it, but the most important thing is that we haven't taken away from what made Integration Designer great. We've just adapted it to make the programming easier, more fluid, navigationally friendly in a room-based environment, and be able to further your options for customization through those resizable graphics and room-based structures. So we've really invested a lot of time to making sure that the features that we incorporate into our software make your lives easier, not more difficult. And that's what Apex is going to offer you. And with that, with the next for future iterations of Integration Designer Apex, things that we were not able to do with our current Integration Designer, such as remote-based programming and multi-layer graphics, those will all be coming in future iterations of Integration Designer Apex. So we've really adapted to the changes that have needed to take place so that you can get in and out of jobs faster, but not take away from the customization that's made the CI industry so great. Now, the backbone, as I said before, of RTI is within Integration Designer, but the true heart and soul of our company and our control systems is in our control processors. These are really what make RTI the fully home automation company it is today. We offer two different series of control processors, the RP and the XP series of control processors. Now, the RP is going to be a replacement for an older version one-way control processor, but the XP processor gives you the opportunity, no matter how small the job starts, to be able to grow with it and expand with it, because we can tie it into the network and utilize the network to add additional ports or different control options to it. Now, the three versions of the XP processor we offer are the XP8S, the XP6, the XP8S here, the XP6, and the XP3. Now, each one of these different devices gives you the opportunity to be able to grow a project. Now, you may look at the XP3 in the middle there and say, well, wait, there's, I can't see a lot of details, but it doesn't look like that has a lot of ports associated with it. And you're right, it doesn't. It does have, however, a Zigbee antenna built in, but it most importantly has an Ethernet connection plugged into it to be able to give you the opportunity to grow a project. So even if the XP8S isn't in the wheelhouse because it is a more expensive piece, you could go down, you could go to a different product, and a different XP processor, like an XP6 or 3, reduce the amount of jackpacks, but not reduce the amount of programming or processing power. Each one of these processors has the same processing power as its brother in terms of the XP processor series. The only difference truly between these is the internal memory, the jackpack, and the ability to and the Zigbee antenna that is built into the XP3. Aside from that, they have the exact same amount of macro engines. They have the exact same processing engine. They have the exact same amount of time-based event controls and automation-based event controls. And most importantly, they have the ability to grow a system through the network. And we can do that utilizing what are called our expansion modules. Now, the expansion modules give us the opportunity to offer two-way control and feedback through a network system. So, in other words, if I have an XP3, that entry-level XP processor in the theater, and the 3 IR ports on there are taken up by the TV, the DirecTV, and the Blu-ray, and then the relay, the RS-232 port on there is going to the receiver. Well, what if my client needs to add an additional, wants to use an 8-layer thermostat, and and they have one already, it's the 8800, and they're just going to buy the module for it. Great, no problem with that. We can utilize this ESC2, this little device right here, to be able to, pardon me, I need to jump ahead, to be able to, right here, to be able to provide our clients the opportunity to be able to add in additional RS-232 port control through a system like this, where they essentially can just plug it into the network and be able to getting those additional RS-232 ports. So really, I gain more ports out of the network rather than having to rip out the processor and replace it with something that has more. The PCM4 has 4 multi-purpose ports that connect as IR outputs, one-way RS-232, or even voltage sensing ports over one IP address. The RCM4 is a relay control module for relays, normally open or normally closed configuration, that can just take up one IP port. So again, you don't have to rip and replace. And one of the newest members to the group is the ZW9. Z-Wave control module gives you the opportunity to control Z-Wave enabled devices, Z-Wave certified enabled devices, to be able to control any of the RTI branded or the third-party devices that are out there. Now, we've gone through the Z-Wave Alliance certification so that it works with any Z-Wave or Z-Wave Plus device. And my recommendation would be to get with AllNet to make sure that the devices that you're quoting in your system have also gone through that process so that the ZW9 will work flawlessly with them. And as a testament to how smart our engineers are, instead of having to know exactly how the driver is configured for this device, like would normally happen in a third-party environment, we built a custom design driver based around the devices you include into the Z-Wave network through the ZW9, and give you the drag-and-drop options necessary to be able to control those, such as a toggle switch, a toggle power on, power off, a lamp module, all those kind of fun things. As you add them in, we'll custom build a driver for you. So it's a very, very unique piece that gives you an easy integration into Z-Wave. But it doesn't stop there. In terms of control solutions, such as wireless remotes, one of the unique things about RTI is that we continue to offer more and more and more remotes. We haven't reduced the controller count, we've actually increased it in a number of ways. And the reason, again, for that is because we know there's not a one-size-fits-all solution out there. It's not, it's not fair to be able to pigeonhole you into saying, well, here's the one remote we have and good luck, because not every client wants every single feature or wants a small remote. Some want them bigger, some want bigger LCD screens, some want no LCD screen. It completely depends on the device. But the philosophy with RTI and the pricing on these different controllers that we have is based around the philosophy not of good, better, best quality, but it's based on the features that are built into the device. So you can know that as you go up the price point chain or as you go up the device chain, you get more features for the money. So as an example, the T1B Plus here is an all hard button remote. Whereas, there's not a lot of whistles and bangs to it, but it is exactly what it's meant to do. You touch a button and it happens. That's all we need for it. You can send IR out of it and all that kind of fun stuff. But in my household, that doesn't fly. Even though I memorize pretty much where every button is on here, in my house, I need some sort of touchscreen. So as we go up the product line, then the T2i, the T2X, and the T3X, the features then will continue to add up for each one of them. So the T2i would be your entry level into color touchscreen with a 2.8-inch color touchscreen that has feedback through Zigbee. The T2X, its bigger brother here, now has the same exact screen size, but we've included Wi-Fi into it so that it can continue to communicate not just on a Zigbee level, but also through Wi-Fi. So I can pull in cover art or camera images or things of that nature. And then the T3X, the biggest brother of the group, has a 3.5-inch color touchscreen that has feedback on it on the screen when you touch it. It's called haptic feedback. But even more importantly, it has Intercom to be able to utilize SIP peer-to-peer based intercom control, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, along the way, to be able to communicate with those doorbell stations or outdoor stations that you may have. So as you can see, we haven't gone away from what makes our company great in terms of the product line. We've just increased the features on those. As just a brief example of those. Same thing has happened with the wired-based controllers. We haven't deviated we haven't gone away from the fact that we know every client has different needs. There's different areas of different need for each client. An iPad on the wall isn't going to suffice for every single area in that project. It just doesn't happen. So what does the client need? What does the client need? You know, do you really want to bring your phone in with you when you're taking a shower and want to change the radio station? No, of course not. You know, do you really want to bring it outside when you're in the pool and grab it and try and change the radio or turn the TV on or whatever? No, because there's chances that you'll probably slip and drop it in. It'll slip out of your hands and drop into the pool or into the shower or whatever the case may be. So we've got different solutions for different types of clients. You know, all of these different solutions have different needs. But one of the unique things about every single one of these, with the exception of this middle one, the WK2, that has the word treasure on it, is the fact that they can all work independent of a processor if necessary. They all have a built-in processor, that a very small one, that can issue singular IR or even sometimes RS-232 commands straight out of the device. So if you are in a situation where you need to control just one device in a room and you didn't want to have to use a full-on processor or remote or app or whatever the case may be, you could utilize one of these devices with their powered up and use the control port in the back to be able to issue the command straight out from it. So again, there's not a one-size-fits-all option out there for a control system. We want you to be able to provide your clients with the best possible solutions. Some examples of these would include the WK2. We have a weather-resistant keypad. This is a solid-state glass keypad that gives us the opportunity to put in a variety of solutions. You don't have to worry about humidity. You don't have to worry about moisture. Because of the fact that it's solid-state glass, this product does not allow for any changes on that on those buttons. So that is exactly how it looks. Plus, it's a one cable connection. It's over PoE, control power, and feedback. So you can just run one Cat5e, Cat6 cable out from your PoE switch or through an injector to this device and put it wherever you need to put it. So if we're in the, you know, as we all are, well, as most of us are here in the Midwest, we've got a variety of different weather that comes through. It can snow one day, rain the next, like it did here in Minnesota yesterday. You know, we've got a variety of options. Wouldn't it be nice to have a controller out in near that outdoor kitchen or in that pool area, where if you wanted to change the audio you're listening to, you certainly could just by a touch of a button and not have to worry about the full, you know, the weather playing a factor into it? That's what the WK2 can offer you, plus feedback, so you know what you're listening to. Or even the KX3. This is a perfect example of a device where we're prepping for the future on it. Now, it's your standard 3.5-inch in-wall color touchscreen with 5 customizable hard buttons on it. But the unique thing about this device is that it does have the audio intercom feature built into it and 2 LED lights in the upper left and right-hand corners. So the upper right here and right here, there's 2 little LED lights, so that you could have those automatically turn on to green if a conference room is open, or if the if the conference room is currently taken up, they could be turned to red, these little LCD buttons here, so that the client could know, hey, the room is occupied. But even further still, you could have an opportunity to utilize some future features with this. We have actually built into the device itself a built-in XP processor and Zigbee antenna, along with 6 sensing ports and 4 relays and 2 bidirectional RS-232 ports. Now, these are not currently active, but they do give us the opportunity to utilize them in the near future. So we can utilize these types of features on the devices that when we launch the firmware update for these, you would have essentially an all-in-one solution for that conference room or for that CEO's office or for that obscure classroom that's made of brick that you can't get any sort of control option to. We want you to have every opportunity to grow those systems, and that's what a KX3 can offer you. Even the CX7, which is a unique device because it's a tabletop controller without a battery in it. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't need that. How am I going to carry that around? Well, that's the point. You don't, if you're a business owner, you don't want the controller that's for that room disappearing. So having something that is always on, always ready to go, plugged in, you've got Wi-Fi, you've got RS-232, you've got IR, you've got full capabilities of the device, plus audio intercom, analog video inputs into it, hardwired Ethernet, plus an under-the-cabinet mounting bracket, so you could put this underneath a cabinet, or maybe if you have a little conference room, you set it on the table, and it's ready to go. Always on, always ready to go. And the newest member of the wired-in controller group is the KX10. Whereas the KX10 is now a 10.1-inch multi-capacitive color touchscreen, but something very, very unique to this device is the fact that it has an HD-based T video input into it. Not many, no other devices out there can have that opportunity. So this HD-based T video input can input up to 1080p within the device and display up to a 720p full screen display or picture-in-picture type display on this device. You still have your composite component as video inputs onto it, but if you think about the placement of this device, you could use this in bars and restaurants so that you know what TV is changing to what HDMI input or what video stream is coming through. You can put it into a house, make sure that the kids aren't watching something inappropriate in the theater. Whatever the case may be, you have the opportunities with these devices. The most important thing about wired devices is that they're always on, always ready to go. You never have to navigate to get them to turn on or to get the app rolling on it. That's why there's such an important piece into the control system mix, because the clients don't realize how important they are until they realize that they don't have them available to them. So being able to have a KX10 or a KX7 or CX7, or whatever the KX3, or even a WK2 in, say, you know, a laundry room where there's a high humidity or a bathroom, being able to have those and solve the pain points for a client, that's where these things really take hold. Now, I mentioned before Intercom and what Intercom utilizes. Now, RTI utilizes an audio-based intercom system called SIP, peer-to-peer, Session Initiation Protocol, peer-to-peer based system. And what that means is that we do not require any sort of server to assign extensions to devices. We simply rely on the IP address of those devices to communicate between each other. Now, the devices you see on the screen here are all capable of it, but we can also communicate with those doorbell stations that have capabilities with them, like a Mobotix T25, a Doorbird, a Comlet, Helios 2N. There's a whole slew of them out there. So if you're utilizing a control system now, a doorbell station now, check to make sure that it has SIP peer-to-peer capabilities, and it'll work just great with RTI. In fact, we're going to be introducing video intercom in the very near future to be able to communicate with the video. In fact, all the devices you see on the screen here all have cameras built into them so that we can use that video intercom solution. So, and we're going to continue our investigation on how to make this better and even more fluid for you down the line. So you can see with those tactile-based controllers, you have so many different options, so many different features. But yeah, there still is a huge market for control apps, for control solutions through apps. And we have got a couple of different options for you on those as well. We have one that is very unique, that is a PC-based. It's called the virtual panel. And the virtual panel here, this device right here, gives you the opportunity to custom design a control interface for the client's PC so that they can make it look and feel however the client wants and have it on their system. In fact, you have the opportunity with every XP processor, the opportunity to use the built-in virtual panel license while you're in network with the same processor. So if you have your computer in the same network as that processor, you can use that built-in virtual panel license to access that control system. Even better yet, it gives you an opportunity to troubleshoot and test drive your system before actually launching those macros from the different devices or apps or handhelds or whatever the case may be. You can make sure that you've designed them correctly for the specific rooms. The other apps that we do have available for you include the iOS and Android-based control apps. Now, we won Best New Product Award at CEDIA when we first launched these devices, and it wasn't because we were the first on the block to have them. In fact, we really weren't. But ours were so unique because they're so custom-friendly and they have such an insanely low connection latency time that they won that award. And that's what makes them so different from everybody else's apps out there, is that we don't say, here's the one way you have to have it. We say, design it how you want. We give you some templates to work with and play with if you want to, but you can customize this just like you can with any of the RTI devices out there to make it look and feel how it works best for your client. And it doesn't take all that much more time. In fact, you even have the opportunity to customize it based on orientation. Landscape versus portrait orientation. And even further, you have conversion programming available to the next generation devices. So if the client upgrades their phone from one to another, it doesn't take you as the integrator any more time to program it. It takes you about 15 seconds to convert it to the new device because you just free up the license and then download the new configuration file to the new device. We'll take care of the majority of the scaling for you if we can, but in some cases, it would just be as simple as going into the program file and saying, I want to convert to this type of device. So with these controllers, you have a lot of opportunities to do it, to be able to provide your client the control aspect of their system however they desire. Now, from an integrator standpoint, we all know that as marketable as they are with iOS and Android or tablet and phone-based controllers, they still don't rank in the highest in terms of satisfaction level for the client. In fact, they actually sometimes lower satisfaction level of the client's control system because they don't have that opportunity. You know, if they're controlling their system from a phone or a tablet, they get it going, they start watching a movie, right? Well, if they're or a TV show on their a TV show on their DVR. Well, if they're on that, they have to, they want to fast forward through the commercial, they have to keep it on that controller. They have to keep it on the app. But if they get out of the app and they go to check their email or play a game or whatever the case may be, check Facebook, if they want to go back, then they're going to have to go back to the app, find the button, press the button, and then go, and then keep their eye on it so that they don't skip too far ahead. So with these controllers, what I always recommend doing is tying any one of the iOS or Android-based controllers in order to raise your client satisfaction level, tie together with the sale of a Surfer. It's your secret weapon controller. It's for those clients that say, no, I only want to control my system via my phone or my tablet. This is their opportunity to be able to control their system with a very simple remote that works as an extension of the RTI panel. In fact, it tracks the page changes that you make on the RTI panel app to stay in sync because it's always on, always ready to go. You don't have to have a wake-up time for it. It's ready to go. In fact, if you were to press Watch TV on the app and the TV turns on, this could flip to the TV page. So now you've got your channel up, channel down, volume down, your guide button, your control buttons, all those kind of control options that you want to see in a controller in a very easy to use type of control system. So you tie those two together, and for less than a price of a standard remote, you've got an app and you've got the secret weapon controller, the Surfer. So really, in fact, actually, the Surfer itself can work as an extension. It can work independent of an app if needs be. So if you get out of the app and you decide, okay, I'm going to watch a movie now instead, so you're on the TV, right? We've got our TV button, but then we want to watch a movie here. Well, I just press the movie button, boom, and it will change everything over. I don't need to go back to the app to do it. Now, if I wanted to use the app to make any adjustments or changes to it, then yeah, I'd have to go back to the app and switch to Watch TV and all that kind of stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is that this can work completely independent of an RTI or of an app if needs be. It's a very big opportunity for you to capitalize on having a device like this, because now the client has it in their hand. Now they realize, oh, I'm glad I have this because my phone died. I forgot to plug it in last night. How do I turn on my system? They've got a controller right there ready to go. In fact, I know a lot of dealers that will actually say, if you want this, you get this. It's a package deal. Because they don't want to have the client call back and say, how do I turn off my system here? I dropped my phone in the lake. Whatever the case may be, they've got a controller ready to go right there, and then they can say, hey, I'm glad I have that controller. Plus, it opens up the door for all of the other control system opportunities out there. Now they have this, and when the client says, okay, I'm ready to do something in the master bedroom, you as a dealer can say, all right, well, I think that T2X would be a perfect remote for that system. It's got everything you need. It's got the feedback on it. You can see who's at the door if necessary. All of those different options are available for you. And the client can say, well, Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I like the controller we have downstairs because they have it in their hands. Even if they are adverse to it at first, they've had it in their hands. They're ready to rock with it. So with the controllers with RTI, you can see the versatility and the plethora of designs and options that we include in them. But it doesn't just stop there with RTI. We also have a number of integrator-based products that really will help you with in terms of product offerings and get you in and out of projects faster. And one of those being audio distribution. RTI, when we first came out with our distributed audio solutions, a lot of people said, "Why are you doing that?" And it came down to 3 easy words: ease of integration. We wanted integrators to be able to get in and out of projects faster, but more importantly, we wanted them to have a top-level product that works. And if we know how these products are built, we know exactly how to control them. These things go head-to-head with anybody else out there. The 4x4 and the 8x8 are your typical standard distributed audio solutions. You've got 25 watts a channel, 8 ohm, 4 ohm stable, 0.05 THD, full spectrum audio, controllable via IR, RS-232, even IP control, and they can be stacked. You have remote source plates available for them, so you can have remote inputs from different rooms if you want. You have a ton of different options. You have a mute module if the doorbell rings built within it. But even more importantly, we add in different programming aspects to the mix, whereas you can have the client create their own different types of party modes through a group zone program. But if you need a little extra power, you can add in our the cool power amplifications in there as well. You can tie in the CP450 and the CP1650 for 16 channels of 50 watts. In fact, the 16 channel can be bridged for 100 over 8 if needs be. The 8x8 matrix switch, going back to that real quick, can be stacked for 64 total zones with 8 live sources if needs be. So we're giving you an easy opportunity to expand your offerings without having to learn a completely new line of distributed audio solutions. Again, we're not adverse to using those other distributed audio solutions, but why not have something that just works, and it works consistently, works great, sounds great, goes head-to-head with anybody else out there. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, they're not meant to power the pair of B&Ws in the listening room or anything of that nature. They're meant for your distributed audio type of solutions, and they work, and that's the most important part. You're in and out of jobs faster with each offerings that you give. Now, with each one of these different types of things, there are some tools of the trade, as all control system companies do have. The tools of the trade that we recommend you pick up for your installers are going to be these 3. The ZB Pro, which is our Zigbee repeater network configuration tool that allows you to create a Zigbee repeater network within the project. The IR Pro allows for IR codes from remotes. And then the ZW are devices within the Z-Wave network that have a smaller inclusion range, like door locks or security systems. Each one of these 3 tools is vital to making sure that you can provide your client the utmost and control solution for their project each and every time. And again, these are things you leave at the project site. These are things that you take with you and you use job to job to job. So I recommend you picking one up for each one of your vans or each one of your installers so that you have all the tools ready to go each time. All of these things combined allow you to create the custom control experience for the client that they so desperately need. We in the CI industry, I think, have deviated away from this because of the amount of time and overhead costs involved in creating that custom solution. With RTI, Integration Designer, and the control aspect, it doesn't take any more time. In fact, you can create your own templates for however you want them to look and feel and reuse those templates time and time and time again and make the subtle changes. So we could utilize a template like that living room template in the middle there and be able to just change the background on it to maybe a picture of the Florida Keys or something where the client's house is, or palm trees or something along those lines. You can tell it's winter in Minnesota when I'm thinking about that stuff. We really have given you an easy to create, personalized for each individual client solution that will help you separate yourself from all the other standard dealers out there. We don't pigeonhole you into using specific products. We don't pigeonhole you into using just our products. We want you to have the flexibility and the capability of using high quality control systems with any type of product out there that you want. Now, even more so with all of this, we do offer some programs available for our dealers. The first one is called our Certified Dealer Program. Once you have become an authorized RTI dealer, which by doing so you have agreed to the three terms of the three golden rules: never sell a product online, sell minimum advertised pricing or higher, and never give out integration designer. Those are the terms and conditions, folks. That's all it boils down to. Three golden rules. Once you have agreed to those, and you've taken all of the trainings available for you, and you have a good knowledge, a good, well-rounded knowledge of the product line as well as the programming side, we encourage you to take the Certified Dealer exam here. And the reason we want you to take the Certified Dealer exam, upon passing of that exam, your company will be listed on our Dealer Finder webpage. And the Dealer Finder webpage itself is it's pretty powerful, to be honest with you, because on the actual RTI webpage, you will find that there is a Find a Dealer link. And when you click Find a Dealer, the end user can do this. They can type in their location. So I could type in Chicago as an example and hit search, and it's going to list all of the locations near Chicago that are currently RTI dealers. That's just an example with all the contact information, phone, email, address, websites, all that kind of fun stuff. Your company could be listed here too. Any end user can see this, but ladies and gentlemen, I would be hard-pressed to say that free marketing is a bad thing. It's not. This is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of some free marketing. So I encourage you to become part of the Certified Dealer Program. Plus, you can grab this logo, and you can put that wherever you want. You can put it on your van, on your truck, on your bids. You can put it on your website. And that boasts a level of confidence for your client to recognize the fact that you've taken the time and have been approved by RTI, for lack of a better term, you've been approved and have passed by RTI, and we've said, yeah, this company knows what they're talking about. So take advantage of that. As you become a certified dealer, then you can let us know, all that can let us know how much dollars you've spent with us in a calendar, spent on RTI in a calendar year, less returns. So if you bought $40,000 worth of RTI product this calendar year, you would be considered a gold level dealer, and we will give you this little logo. You put that on your website, but we'll also put it on that Find a Dealer link as well, so that you would be right at the top. So take advantage of that. We also have a very versatile VIR program for you. It's called Control Bucks. Every RTI product that you sell has a control buck value associated with it. You could submit in no more than 1 year from invoice date your invoices into us with the proper control bucks form and redeem your control bucks for actual RTI product or RTI swag, like flashlights and shirts and things of that nature, or actual RTI product. In fact, you can just write into customer support and say, hey, I want could I please have the actual certificates themselves instead of product or things of that age or shirts, and they'll send you the certificates, and those certificates never go bad. So you can stockpile those, and when you have enough for your own personal system, you can just submit them all in and get a ton of free product. Or even better yet, you can resell the product and make 100 points of margin on it. So again, you have 1 year from invoice date, and all that can walk you through that process as well to make sure that you know the process on that and help you keep track of your invoices. So that you can take advantage of these control bucks. And even further yet, we have a case study program available for you too. We want to brag about you. We want to see some of the best of the best. So if you've done some really awesome projects with RTI and you would like to have them marketed by RTI, we want to hear about them. So essentially, you'll go onto the dealer site, you go to our case study submissions, and you're going to give us a brief synopsis of what that product is, what that project was, what pain points you solved, how it works, how everything was working together, and the reaction from the clients. And then you're going to send us some really high quality images of that project. Before and after pictures are great, but please, please, please take them with an actual camera. Don't take them with your phones. And we will submit them into our PR firm. They will do a beautiful write-up on it. They'll wordsmith it, make a both sound really good, we'll send you a copy of this along with 1,000 control bucks. So you have 1,000 control bucks to spend on some really good-looking shirts or product, as well as something to put in your sales portfolio and put it on your website. We'll tag it to our website and then also put it in our marketing brochures and capabilities. So take advantage of the case study program, and again, that's on the dealer site, and let us know if you have any questions on that. So with that, I want to thank AllNet for the time today and say appreciate everybody being on here today. I know it was short notice, but we will have this available to you in the near future, and look for us to do some programming and product programming-based training in the coming year with AllNet at their variety of locations. So with that, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being on,